after that, there was, I've been telling you, what's been happening. And I'll mention some of these dates again because there's so many things happening in there. It's, to tell stories in between and a date to go back, it's very difficult unless you write it in a book, which I'm not going to do, So now I want to draw and paint more, and I can talk pretty well, I guess, if I get angry enough. But, yes, and then in the same way, then, the same thing. It didn't stop. It didn't stop with BI3, and only about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 1981, when I was confronted with the museum board once again, I kidded about the black suits and all. They wanted to sell us down the river again. Now don't forget, this is more important to them because we got more property by now. But now we're out to Grant Avenue. If we had a little bit of help, we would have been to Broad Street. But we needed their help. I mean, we wanted. I remember Mary was insisted, let's buy the Christopher Inn. I said, Mary, we can't afford it right now. It was only $1 million. We could have done it. But I said, man, but we had to put new windows. It's going to cost us $2 more million. I was afraid of it, But, and all of this, I say, then the Franklin issue came along, and we really had to fight. Here they got everybody that owned the city against poor CCAD. Why? Because they're being complimented all over the country. Why? Because students are being successful all over. Why? Because Hallmark wants to build a railroad on the ground to connect them with CCAD. Why? It's one of the best design schools on the West Coast. Wants to steal our design faculty. Why? We were turning out the quality that they would like to have had. But again, merge them. I said, we had nothing wrong with Franklin University, especially now with Paul. He's a terrific leader. Franklin University is wonderful. But it's not a kind of school that goes with art and aesthetics. Will they ever understand? You want to make it better. Merge it with a music school. I'll stop there. Music and the visual arts, great. No, I mean, these other kids in the Franklin, they're terrific kids. Nobody criticizing them. It's just what they were doing at home. Well, how they were handling us. We had to get an attorney. It cost the school a lot of money to defend itself. I know one very nice person who was the chairman of the museum board down there. Every time I see him downtown today, he says, "Oh, hi, Joe, how are you? I understand you have more land than the Pope." He said, "You're right." I'm not going to say his name, because at one time we hated his guts. We kind of like him now. He's a nice person. But it's all right to make a remark like that, but don't wish it. It's wrong. Get it yourself. Work for it. Don't go taking it. And working together, you know, like the last thing I read, with all the environment, all the neighborhoods. It's a wonderful idea. But work together honestly, with integrity, with justice. Don't take advantage of anyone. Because sooner or later, it will snap back. It will snap back. With sorrow, we were very, very sad about this whole thing. We were not happy. They weren't alone. I mean, the big university was against us too. But they got rid of the troublemakers up there too. They were having trouble with their own. You know, I just recalled just this one thought. People, you know, used to justify. But we have an art college at the university, meaning Ohio State. Some of them might even say, well, we have an art department at Capitol. At Audubon, we all have. What do we need CCAD for? Well, I'll tell you. Because CCAD knows how to teach professional art and design, and they don't. They haven't the slightest idea how to teach professional art and aesthetics. Wait a minute. They do a wonderful job. All of them. Audubon, Ohio Dominican, Capitol, Ohio State, in teaching kids to become elementary and secondary teachers. Elementary and secondary education, they do a wonderful job. They do a superb job. We can't do it. We don't do it. We won't handle it. We're not set up to do it. But they are, and they do a good job. They shouldn't even try to teach. There were 6 or 7 universities downtown, down south, who admitted, look, they got together and said, look, let's face it, we cannot teach art and aesthetic, professional art. Let's get out of it. They admitted it. But ultimately, they kept it, you know, somehow. They probably had a lot of arguments at the university. But at least they admitted it. They just don't do it. Columbus College of Art and Design is the only college of art and design that teach professional art. From here to Cincinnati has a smaller school. They do a pretty good job. And Cleveland, as jealous as they are, they do a darn good job of professional art instruction, of professional. But all the other colleges, they don't. We've had students graduates from a lot of these colleges. They've had 4 years. One student had 5 years of education in a big university. He had to put him back on a second year, and he couldn't even keep up with the kids. And that's a fact. And he was talented, and that's a fact. Well, I better go on here. See, Tom, I better go on. See, there's so much, you know. It just open the floodgates.
Kind of left off when they were building that new building.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick up your story there?
You mean the JVC building?
Is that the one that you were talking about?
No, the one on Mary's?
Yeah.
No, that's V Hall. The one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one. It's got the Cagitani mural, the long horizontal rectangular mural in front.
When was that built?
19. I don't know the date. It's about in the 70s. See, in the 70s sometimes, yes. But anyway, I'm through with all this other stuff, all the complaints and everything else. I just hope I got the point across that You know, you just you got to understand. You know, to teach design alone, it's a tremendous amount of education involved. You know, you really have to teach it. You have to go through the processes over and over again. If you want these kids to be designers, and then after they graduate, they still don't not really designers. It takes another 5 or 10 years to become good designers. And these other colleges, unfortunately, they think they can do it 1 year. Yeah, they could do it if they get Michelangelo in a classroom, Titian, Rembrandt, maybe Van Gogh. If they got those guys in the classroom 1 year time, maybe they could do it. Well, here I have, you asked these dates. Tom, I talked about attitude. See, I said, and it's still going on. I want to say this because maybe it will stop. Make them think a little bit. When we gave the museum the big parking lot, we gave them, and the building, we were in dire need for parking ourselves because we're getting more and more students all the time. So I said to the director of the museum at the time, I think it was B3. I said to BI3, I said, look, do you mind giving us about several, maybe a dozen or more parking spots for some of our faculty? Because some of the teachers had to run the class. They don't have time looking for a spot. I said, somehow we came down. I said, how about 17 spots on the front row out near Gay Street? They says, oh, all right, after thinking about it, okay, all right, we'll give you 17 spots to park. And we used it. The faculty used it. Now look, talking about the extension of attitudes. And then, like I said, I'm saying it only, you better curb that damn attitude. Now I'm pointing to the present director. I don't care, I'm pointing to him. Irving, check it. We had the privilege of 17 parking spots in a lot. 2 years ago, the only one person that was still using it was confronted by a person that told them, go, don't park here anymore. And the person said, but we're supposed, we can park here. It was a promise when the school in a museum was a promise that the museum did the promise. He said, well, we changed our mind. What do you think that will do? I'm talking to the museum people. What do you think that does to people? When you know it's a promise, and then the attitude comes out again, throws them out of the parking lot. At least come up with something. Come to my office. He said, we'll discuss this. I know you should have said, I realize, it was a promise to you, and we're so sorry we can't keep our promise anymore. We need the parking spaces. No, get out practically. Get out, no more parking. Well, we just changed our mind. We can go over there. I could take 1,000 students over there and just yell, we changed our mind. Get the hell out of the parking lot. We changed our mind by giving it to you. We'll take it back right now. How's that? That's vis-a-vis. Face to face. Telling them the truth. Don't do that. We're all human beings. We're all trying to do our best. But here, what we're arguing about is when we do our best, we get kicked around. Well, personally, I can't even I can't take even a look of a kick. Somebody kicks me, boy, I'll kick them right back, as old as I am. I've had it. There's over 20 years of it, continuously.